Hello, this is the RPG Pundit, the final boss in Internet Shitlords. And this was kind of an unexpected video to make, but hey, I'd been talking about making 1+ videos a week instead of one, and I guess this is kind of that. I don't know when the next video after this one will be, but it was something that happened just after I posted my last video, which everyone should watch, of course, because it's a great video. It only came out a couple of days ago, so be sure to check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. Today, though, I'm talking about something that happened on Reddit. Now, people tend to have strong opinions about Reddit one way or the other. I know some people, nerds mostly, who absolutely adore Reddit. They just love it to death. And then everybody else on the planet who just really doesn't get Reddit. And I'm kind of among those. Like, Reddit has never been a big deal to me. I've never particularly liked it. I've obviously, monitored it from time to time. The only reason I ever made an account on Reddit was because when I was working for Defy Media, I had the Reddit account in order to post, to promote my some of my articles that I was making for them at the time. And that's pretty much it. So it's never been my thing, right? So none of what's happening here is a big blow to me in the sense of Reddit itself, because I've never really cared much about Reddit. And I think that the problem also, gaming speaking, is that the Reddit communities, the RPG community and the OSR, the RPG subreddit and the OSR subreddit are both, they've both been strongly infiltrated by SJW elements who have, taken to the running of the place. They're the chief kind of architects there, and are, they've basically turned that place into a place where certain speech isn't welcome, right? The typical moderation problems that you find in so much of RPG discussion forums, except for the RPG site. Go check out www.therpgsite.com, where you can post on our RPG forum about any RPG subject. Holy crap, is that a spider running down my Lords of Olympus book? I think it is. Where the hell did you come from? What the hell is this? I don't want to kill a spider, but I can't really have it just hanging around my Lords of Olympus book, can I? This is crazy. Wow. Oh, now it's moved on to Lion and Dragon. You heard it right here, folks. Arachnids love my RPG books. I think this is because I took to heart something that some asshole commented on Twitter the other day about, they claimed that my kitchen was dirty. And, I thought that was funny because really it's just, I think that the reason they said it is because it's the spider's right up here. It's it's a kitchen from an old house, a very old house that I live in a third world country, right? And so it doesn't look like a kitchen that an upper middle class white girl would have, in her loft where she's, or the one that her parents have when, from where she grew up with her trust fund or what have you. And so she's like, oh, look at that poor person, I'm so woke. But I did have to recognize that there was, that I needed to clean up my kitchen, so I did that. Now I don't know where the spider's gone. It's somewhere. Anyway, the thing is that I did some cleaning up, and I think that probably caused the spider to get out of its hiding place, wherever that was. Oh, there it is again. Anyway, now I've completely derailed my video. There's the spider. It's gone back onto the microwave. Okay. I don't like to kill spiders because this is another, I don't know if you guys know this or not, because in the first world it doesn't matter so much, but if you're living, I guess, unless if you're living maybe in the south, somewhere where there's a permanently warm climate, here there's a permanently warm climate. There's no, houses don't have insulation, there's no air conditioning, you keep windows and doors open at all times, so lots and lots of bugs go through the house, right? Certainly compared to what I as a Canadian was used to, as somebody who was raised in Canada. And you can try to do some things to stop that, right? Like I put mosquito netting on my windows, but bugs just get in. They get in all over the place because the construction is not as sealed as it is in a part of the world where it's below zero most of the, you know, for half of the year or whatever. And and so then you've got these bugs that come in, and spiders are good because they kill other pests, other bugs that are much bigger problems, that are bugs that, you know, will get into your food or eat up your clothes or something like that, right? Spiders don't do either of those things. They just eat other bugs, so I try to let them live. Anyway, now that I've completely gone off track, let me get back on track here with my story about Reddit. The OSR and RPG subreddits are infested with SJWs. Not unlike how my house is apparently infested with friendly little spiders. And, you know, they've got a big lobby there, right? And you'll inevitably see, like, in, you know, the last few months, there have been several times when lots of threads have been started about me. Most of them, I think, by probably sock puppets of the Daniel Fox, because we all know he does that. But that they've started threads that are just meant to be basically attack posts about me, where people go to talk about how horrible I am, right? And someone started one of these threads. This time, I don't think it was Fox. I'll mention that. Where they said something like, "Is Casimir Urbanski representative of the OSR?" That was the question. And basically, the post was, "Oh, this is such a horrible person. Is he what the whole OSR is like? Does he represent us? Blah blah blah." And then it turned into this thing with like 100 posts of SJWs saying all kinds of garbage about me. And among this, like, I wouldn't really care. I didn't post. I've never responded to any of these threads that were started before. Because what the hell do I care what SJWs think of me, right? We all know what they're like. But here what happened was that you had some guys in there that started lying, blatantly lying about me in ways I just couldn't ignore, right? And they were doing this because they were trying to demand that the moderators of the OSR subreddit remove my blog from the list of links of OSR blogs. Now, I'll mention my blog is one of the oldest role-playing blogs in continued use. One of the biggest. It was one of the earliest blogs by people who were in, like, OSR environments, even though, like, you can't really say the earliest OSR blogs, because when I started my blog, there wasn't an OSR yet, you know. And my blog is almost entirely gaming. There was a time when I did some more political type posts that had no gaming content. But if you look at, for example, you know, the last 20 posts I've made to my blog, they've all been related to either gaming itself or the gaming hobby, promoting my books, or something related to one of my campaigns, right? So they've all been directly gaming related, and with one single exception, which was a classic post I mentioned, where I bemoaned the fact that there are certain people nowadays who simply refuse to even look at sources from the other side of the political spectrum, right? Which I don't think is a radical thing to say. I mean, I think that it's like, you know, in a normal society, that's what everyone should do. You should be looking at every side of the argument, at all, you know, you should be looking, because it was about a guy who refused to look at links that came from, like, the Federalist or Breitbart, because he said, oh, you know, those, I'm not even going to look at that because, you know, and even if they have facts, because it doesn't matter, they're the other side, right? I only look at, like, you know, Huffington Post or something. And, like, it's stupid. It's just as stupid to say the other way, right? You look and you analyze and you critically examine, right? But of course, the SJW's whole deal is they don't want people to look and analyze and critically examine, because all of the SJW's arguments are flawed, right? And since they can't stop me on the arguments, they're going to just make up shit about me, right? So this one SJW claimed that my blog should be removed from the list of OSR subreddit blogs because according to him, I had cheered and laughed and applauded the fact that the woman was killed in Charlottesville during the supposed, you know, Unite the Right rally of these neo-Nazis, right? He claimed that. And so I had to come in there. I had to defend myself. There, you'll see that there, if you look at my blog, you'll see that there's only one post because about Charlottesville, and it was posted before the car attack happened. And it was a post where I was condemning the neo-Nazis at Charlottesville and saying that nobody on the right buys their idea that about uniting the right, that being a conservative doesn't mean you have to endorse neo-Nazis, right? And that there's absolutely no way that they're going to get what they want out of this, right? The right is not going to endorse their disgusting views, right? So that was my only post I made on that. I didn't make a post after the attack because at the time, I believe I was in Seattle. So I was traveling back then, and I didn't have I didn't really have the time to be doing constant blogging, and you'll see that because my blogging is intermittent during that whole period. But this person had openly lied. I come in, I post the proof. The person admits that they were wrong, supposedly. They claim, oh, I misremembered, right? Of course they were lying, but the point is they recognize that what they claimed was not true. And then the moderator comes along, and what does the moderator do? He censors my blog, he removes it from the roll, and he writes me a message saying that I should get therapy because of how rude I am to people on his thread, and that I'm under threat of being banned from the OSR subreddit. That I don't know if I've ever posted there before this, but he came and said that to me, right? Not to the dozens of people who had posted on that thread that was exclusively meant to attack me, that was exclusively meant to be insulting to me, and not to the guy that accused me falsely of being a neo-Nazi. No, none of those guys got anything except exactly what they wanted, which was that this either leftist or cuck moderator removed the blog from that list of OSR blogs. And, you know, again, I don't really think this matters a lot in the sense of, for me personally, because I don't think there's a lot of people that from the OSR subreddit discovered my blog. Right? I don't think there's a lot of people that would go to my blog from the OSR Reddit. The OSR subreddit is full of leftist SJWs who have taken over the place and already driven away anybody who would be really likely to be very interested in what I have to say, right? But it's troubling to me, just the principle of the fact that now the only, you know, the official OSR place on Reddit is this place that's completely controlled and is completely out of touch with reality, right? Like, it's removed the material that represents the center of, you know, the mainstream of the OSR at the behest of no-name radicals who lied about me. And then even though everybody agreed that that was not true, that what this guy claimed was not true, they punished me for it anyways, right? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the modern left. It's the definition of what the modern left is today. Right? It doesn't matter if the accusation is false, right? The guy came along, he made a false victimhood narrative, the media ate it up, they attack the people that he claimed were responsible for his victimhood. Then even when it turned out to not be true, the authorities do nothing to the people who were frauds, right? They do nothing to the hoaxers, and they continue to punish the people the hoaxers were after, because even if it wasn't true, then well, that's probably what we think they feel like, because they didn't, you know, they don't agree that the orange man is bad. So because of that, obviously these people must be Nazis, right? So it doesn't really matter if they did something or not. What matters is that, you know, we feel like this person's made up story is more true, even though factually it isn't, than what is actually true, right? Welcome to postmodernism. This is what you get. This is what happens when you listen to these degenerate French philosophers who you know, had no business teaching anyone. They should have been out on the streets. All right, so that's it. I'm not saying go over there and attack anyone or harass anyone or whatever. It doesn't really matter, I think. I think that the OSR subreddit is a lost cause, right? But spread this story. to warn people about the OSR subreddit, to make it clear to people that, you know, this is not, this place is not actually representative of the OSR. It's also, you know, a place where they don't value free speech, and a place where they encourage people to slander known OSR writers, and reward them for slandering OSR writers. And, you know, let's try to make sure that nobody goes there by accident and gets a completely wrong idea of what the OSR is. Meanwhile, check out good places for the OSR, which include the RPG site that I already mentioned, and also there's an Inglorious OSR group on Mewe. So if you get on Mewe, check me out. I'm the RPG Pundit. I'm sure you can find me there. If you can't, well, I might put a link in the description. And then, I don't know if you can see, Mewe is so weird, so I don't know if you can just see the groups I'm in or not, but if you can't, you know, give me a ring on the chat and I'll send you a link to the Inglorious OSR group. It's growing quickly. And yeah, so let's keep track of ourselves in our own spaces where these guys, you know, are not, you know, able to pull this sort of crap. Right, and we just have to do that. We have to make them be the ones that end up being isolated, not the other way around. And of course, I know that we have all the infrastructure of the establishment left against us. I know that this is a really difficult thing to do. The tech giants are opposed to reality at this point, you know, and they're in a war with that. But the thing is, all of my training in Eastern philosophy tells me that if you are in a position that is in denial of factual reality, you can, for a time, maintain this bubble of false reality through your concentration, through effort, by trying to convince yourself that this is the way the world is. But inevitably, the force of nature, of natural law, will overcome that, right? And I'm thinking that it can overcome that in a positive way, or in a catastrophic way. So I'm not saying that, oh, we could just lay back and not worry about it. One way or the other, there's going to come a time where the influence of this toxic version of the left and the kind of SJW movement will be done. It will be. The question is whether it will be done because they've torn everything down and now there's nothing left but ruins and dust, or if it will be done because we've been able to take back the center of our civilization's culture, right? That's why we can't just retreat into ghettos. That's why we have to stay in control of the mainstream, right? And we have to retake control in all these aspects, in every aspect that we can, and keep pushing them to being the ones that have the more and more extremist points of view, right? Make them be the ones that say things that are crazier and that look crazier and that get to the point where they're saying outrageous things in reaction to their frustration at losing that causes them to lose even more people. It's the death cycle, right? Then they start to lose numbers and they're left with only the most extreme rump, who, the more extreme they become, the more aggressive they become in their extremity until they get rejected by everyone. That's the strategy. So, if you like this video, please subscribe if you haven't yet. I want to thank everyone who subscribed. I think we're at like almost 850 now, which is just amazing, right? Like, it's just been growing at a great rate as far as I'm concerned. Thank you to everyone. Please share the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you make sure that you get when the next videos come along. Again, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll probably be consistently doing a couple of videos. Well, one video for sure, but one plus. You know, most weeks I'll do 2, okay? So that's something to aim at. And support me by purchasing my products, stuff like my books, like Dark Albion or Lords of Olympus, or my RPG Pundit Presents PDF, source books, which are full of excellent OSR material that you can use, not just in my games, but, you know, that's the wonderful thing about the OSR compatibility. You can use it in all kinds of OSR products. And if you want to support me directly, I still have a Patreon page, but I'm not entirely sure why, but I do. It's there. So you can support me on Patreon if that's convenient for you, or you could send me some cash directly via a PayPal button that is on my blog. So go to my blog, and on the right-hand side, there's a PayPal button there. More than anything, though, share the videos. Spread the word. send out the news, right? Help me out that way. Let's grow the channel, and let's take back the center. Currently smoking Lorenzetti Volcano plus Cornell and Deal's Morning Drive.